Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. Also check out the third wave merchandise, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So yesterday we actually dropped in the second wave move down exactly after I posted the video, and it was pretty funny because people right now they think I'm some kind of prophet who knows everything that will happen in the market, but in reality, I mean, this is just some basic Elliott wave count, and well, I mean, it was pretty obvious that we will get a, correction very soon, and by the looks of it, we got one. Now, the correction right now, it is pretty deep. As you can see, we are even below the 0.618 support level, which is not the best thing in the world. However, I warned you about this, I believe, on the Discord server. And as you can see, I said this over here. Last support zone is the 0.786, which is at 73.7 cents. Because the first wave move up was way more impulsive than my liking, we could theoretically drop all the way down to the 0.786 because the bigger structure, this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup is a diagonal. The fourth wave move down dropped to the first wave price action. And in case you are wondering if this can happen in the Elliott wave count, yes, it can, but it's now counted as a diagonal. And I told you that I do not really trust diagonals, but I mean, we do not really quite drop to the 0.786 support level. However, there's still a chance that we do. And if we do, we should find support there. If we do not, it's gonna be pretty bad because this will most likely turn into a much bigger A, B, C structure, and we could even drop back to 68.5 cents. Keep in mind that would also mean that we will break below the trend line right here and below the uptrend, which is also not going to be a good sign. However, I mean, please do not forget about this. We have 3 touch points so far on the trend line, which means that we could theoretically drop to it again just to test it again, and that's exactly at the 0.786 support level, so please keep that in mind. And if we do not stay above the trend line, then we will most likely, get some type of double bottom here, or maybe even some kind of another low. And well, this support level needs to hold, because if it doesn't, the whole structure is gonna turn into a big mess, and we don't want to see that right now. Now, obviously, the market is dropping because of some kind of news. I don't know what's going on in the news world because I don't really care about the news. I only care about the chart. So I don't really talk about news because I just don't care. And what we need to focus on right now, if we do get a bounce at the 618 or at the 0.786, will be the third wave move up right here. We have a 1-2 setup on the chart. It has not been invalidated. To invalidate the 1-2 setup, we would have to go below this low right here, which is at 71.1 cents. We'll see if we do that or not. If we do not, and if we somehow drop to the 0.618 support level, the 1-2 setup will still not be invalidated, meaning that the next target would be the third wave of this 1-2 setup, and that is at about 93.3 cents. Then we'll need a fourth wave move down and a fifth wave move up, and the target zone for it is around 97 cents, only if the third wave actually gets to this target. Keep in mind, the first wave, like I said, was a bit more impulsive than my liking, and yeah, I mean, the third wave could be a little bit less impulsive because of that, but the fourth wave move down and then the fifth wave move up could theoretically extend all the way to the targets for the main third wave of this much bigger 1-2 setup here. And yeah, we'll see if that happens or not. So that's all I have about the short term. Now I want to talk about the daily chart as well. Well, actually, no, before I talk about that, if you look at the RSI, as you can see right now, we got exactly to the trend line again. So, I mean, so far we have about 4 touch points here, which is a good sign. So we'll see if we hold or not. If we drop below the trend line, it could be a bad sign. So please be aware of that. Now, even if we drop below the trend line, I think it's still going to be fine. Even if we drop all the way back to 50 cents, which by the way, I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but even if we do that, it's still gonna be okay, because if you look at the bull market support band right now, it's almost at a cross, and that's a very good sign, because almost always, well, not almost always, but always when we get a cross on the bull market support band, that's when Cardano finally wakes up. For example, like it did over here, I was making videos back here, I was warning you about the cross, and we got a cross. Then of course nothing happened, but then after a while we had this huge pump, and well, this is what what we're waiting for right now. Please keep in mind this pump only happened because of Bitcoin dominance, and we'll talk about that as well. First, I need to talk about the daily chart because what's happening here is actually very important. As you can see, we actually got below the trend line on the RSI, which is not a good sign, and by the looks of it, we're about to retest it. If we retest it and we get rejected, we could get a much bigger correction, so please be aware of that. But yeah, that's all we need to know about the short term. Now let's go on the weekly as well. And by the looks of it, we're still trying to test the moving average here. And I warned you about this many weeks ago, so this is pretty normal. And if we stay above this, and if we close above it this week and maybe even next week, then we should see a big pump maybe on Monday. I don't know what day is today. I think today is like Saturday or something. So probably in like 2 days, we'll get a decision. We'll see if the market actually reacts to the trend line or if we get a drop right now and we drop below it. And if we drop below it, that could be a pretty bad sign. And yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Now on the monthly chart, things are still looking very good. We're actually bouncing off the moving average on the RSI. So I think in the next couple of months, Cardano will do very well. And now let's talk about Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, it's going down, at least on the monthly chart. And it's about to close a red wick on the monthly chart for the first time since November of 2024. Now, I don't know if we will actually close it red. I mean, we still have like 6 days left of the month. So we'll see if that happens or not. And if we close it red, it could be a good sign. I mean, as you can see here in the previous cycle, the altcoin season did not happen in 1 month. As you can see, this took about 5 months, this whole drop right here. So it could be a good sign if we actually close it red, but you know, we need to continue closing them red, and we also need to, you know, get below the bull market support band and the 200-day moving average to be able to confirm that something bullish is going on. And until that happens, you know, there's not much that you need to know about Bitcoin dominance other than the fact that even though people like to say that we will not get an altcoin season because we are not in QE, people forget that in the 2017 cycle, exactly over here, we were not in QE, we were in QT the entire time, and Bitcoin dominance still dropped. So I don't know why people are forgetting about this. I don't know why people are only focusing on what happened over here. Yes, here we were in QE, and that's why Bitcoin dominance dropped. However, here we were in QT the entire time, and we still had a big drop, and we still had the altcoin season. So I think this is going to happen again, no matter if we start QE or QT. Now, obviously, if we started QE right now, that would obviously give us a, you know, pretty significant move to the downside on the Bitcoin dominance chart. But even if we don't get it, I still think that Bitcoin dominance will be around 41% by January of 2026. And as you can see from the previous 2 cycles, that's usually when Bitcoin dominance is at these lows. So we'll see if this, you know, pattern continues. I mean, as you can see right now on the monthly chart, we are overbought right here on the RSI, which usually could be a good sign, but obviously we need to break below the moving average on the RSI to be able to confirm that something more bullish is going on. And why am I talking about Bitcoin dominance in a Cardano video? In case you are new here, you probably don't know what's going on and you are probably confused. But all you need to know is that if Bitcoin dominance drops, like it did, for example, right here in November of 2024, if it drops, Cardano goes up like crazy here. It dropped about 7%, and during this time Cardano went up about 300%. So imagine what's gonna happen when Bitcoin dominance drops from this high right here all the way down here, and it drops about 25%. I think we are in for a good altcoin season, and I think the market will finally wake up soon. Now, I mean, Bitcoin has already woken up. As you can see, it's already trying to get to its 5th wave targets of the main 3rd wave, and I guess it's time to go on the daily chart for this. I mean, the target for the Bitcoin chart remains the exact same. I have not changed this target in a very long time, and I always told you that we will most likely get a bounce, and people back here were calling for a bear market, people back here were calling for a bear market, and I always told you that we are most likely not in a bear market because we are respecting support levels, and well, by the looks of it, right now we're going higher. My target zone is between $126,000 and $157,000. I think in the next couple of weeks, Bitcoin will finally start being outperformed by Ethereum, and when Ethereum finally decides that it's time to wake up and stop, you know, going sideways, that's gonna be the perfect time for Bitcoin dominance to start breaking down. And please do not forget, whenever Ethereum goes up, that's when Cardano goes up even more. So that's what I'm waiting for right now, and my targets for this bull run remain the exact same. I mean, right now we are working on the 3rd wave of the main 3rd wave of this 1-2-1-2 setup on the chart. The target for that is $3.50, and I think it's very realistic because if you look at what happened in the previous cycle right here when Cardano was at about 20 cents or so, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart during that time, it was at about 73% when Cardano was at like 20 cents. And as you can see, after we dropped, during this time we dropped from 73% to let's say about 39% down here. And during this time Cardano went from about 20 cents down here all the way up to like $3.10, and right now we are at like 65% dominance, and Cardano is like 3.5 times more expensive than what it was over here when Bitcoin dominance was at about 73%. So I think we're gonna do just fine in this cycle, and my targets, if you are not aware of them, they are between $5 and $8. I think that's where Cardano is going, and that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. Check out the third wave of the third wave merchandise, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.